I put in front of me. Linger on your pale blue eyes. Linger on your pale blue eyes. Skip a life completely, stuff it in a cup. She said money is like us in time. It lies but can't stand up. Down for you is up. Linger on your pale blue eyes. Linger on your pale blue eyes. It was good what we did yesterday, and I'd do it once again. The fact that you are married only proves you're my best friend. But it's truly, truly a sin. Linger on your pale blue eyes.
Yeah. A little Rolling Stones in the morning. Why not, huh? Got a little bit of a tangle here. See if I can get this baby out done, huh? Yes, sir, because we got a show to do. What the heck is going on? All right, there it is. I think I got it. La Camara Choco do Hey. How is everybody? AM 1230, WJOB 104.7. I'm Jim Dedelow, host of JED in the region, hanging out with you on a Tuesday morning. And what a beautiful Tuesday morning it is. I might just even go outside for the hell of it, just for the heck of it. You know what I mean? Uh-oh, I sat down on my wires. Can you still hear me? I can't hear myself. There you go. Gotta watch out. Maybe get a little clip for that baby. How are things, huh? It's been a little while, huh? Want to hear Angel from Montgomery? Me neither. Let's get right down to it, huh? I mean, I do want to hear it, but not right now. Does that make sense? Let's take a look at what's going on in the roadways. What do you think it is, huh? All right, first of all, I got a La Camara Gigimovo Jmirif Kappa. 294 around the city looks pretty good. Let me get it up on this one here. I got to walk out to my car and get my computer that I left in the back seat. Sorry about that. I took it to a meeting yesterday and wound up not bringing it in. You know what? Why don't I just do that right now, because my phone's going to update and the other computer wouldn't work. You know what? Beats the Sam hell out of actually working, but every once in a while you're like, hey, why can't everything work? Because it can't. Look, now I got to sign into Google everywhere I go. Why would you have to sign into Google everywhere you go? You know what I mean? That's why I didn't want to use the other one. Is that like, you know, I love using like Google, especially the AI Google. Have you guys looked at it? It's called Gemini. To me, it's better than ChatGPT. So here's your traffic. 294 around the city looks pretty good. 80 going east and west looks good. The Bishop Ford is already bad at the merge. I think that's because school's coming back, or some of the schools. I saw Columbia College started yesterday or moved everybody in. Start getting people going up for the schools. You don't realize what an industry that is, education. And then, but the Dan Ryan looks good. It's starting to get bad from the Steel Bridge on through the merge. That's your one problem. Skyway Toll Road, Borman looks pretty good. Klein Avenue's always heavy through that construction area near Ridge Road. But other than that, you should be okay. And in terms of the weather, you know, it's just a beautiful stretch of weather. Right now, it's only 53 degrees here at the Straka and Van Til Studios. It only goes up to about 70. So should spend most of the day in the 60s. I think it gets to about 71 at, let's say, about 2 or 3 p.m. and stays there for a New York minute. And then by midnight, it goes back down into the 50s, should be 56 or so. So it's just kind of actually beautiful fallish weather. And I have the final day of my golf league with my buddies playing today. And just 43. Is that solid? It's nothing big. I think I shot a 46 and a 39 is my range in this 9 holes out at Wicker Park. But I am going to walk out. Now, if I get locked out, let's see. This has happened before where I've walked out to my car and I got locked out. And it was really cold outside, and all I had was a shirt on like I have now, and I had to sit there and wait for Ryan Walsh. That was like 8-10 years ago. And that was actually kind of embarrassing. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to open the door for a second. There you go. And then I'll lock it when I come back. But I'm going to walk out to my car. Hopefully it's not too loud out. Yeah, it is. Remember when I used to come out here and broadcast from out here? How did anybody ever do that? It's kind of stupid, really. All right, I get kind of far away from the wireless microphone, so if it comes in and out, it'll be just like calling your grandma at her trailer outside of Orlando where they have spotty cell service. Cha-cha-cha la mara hara he. You see, it's kind of spotty, but I definitely need my computer. It's a little laptop in the back seat here. But anyways, so I got golf league today, and I get to play with my high school buddies. And you know how I kind of talk fairly nice to people here? You know, I was like, oh, hi, how are you? Thanks for calling, all that stuff. It's nice to get together with guys like Joe Preboy and Dan Nagy and Dennis Wood and just like say incredibly insulting things at their golf swings or maybe even their lives in general, and not be held accountable for it. And I guess that's what happens. People ask, well, how do you have so much patience? I go, well, I have to go out every once in a while and play golf with my buddies there, or I got to go out every once in a while. I went out with my little brother yesterday or 2 days ago, played a little golf with him. And that way, you know, I can just talk openly and make fun of people and complain a little bit, which I'll be doing plenty of today. But it'll be cool. And that is a cool thing at this time of year because, I don't know about you, I went to grade school with no air conditioning at St. Thomas More in Munster, and you really regret it all the way up till about October 1st, man. And then it would just get, you know, it would be warm as you go to school some days in late October and it'd be like 90 degrees in every classroom, and that would be a problem. Now, I know what you want. You want me to talk about redistricting. You want me to talk about the feds coming to Chicago. You want me to talk about a few crime things here in the Calumet region. And I'll certainly do that. But every once in a while, I'm just like, it's so beautiful out. Why do we gotta like hate each other? And one of the things I want to talk about is in the Indy Star, they did actually USA Today, they did a national article, I guess, about the region and is redistricting coming to the Calumet region. And they went into Sip Coffee Shop in Highland and interviewed a bunch of people. And I don't know if you got interviewed by USA Today a couple days ago. Why don't you call me 219-845-1100, because it was, I was just kind of paging through this morning, and I saw that, and I'm like, wow, they were running around here. They talked to people in St. John. And one of the things they came up with was kind of interesting, in that they talked about our District 1, where Frank Mervan represents us as a Democrat, is basically three different socioeconomic, I guess, what do you call that? Just different types of people and living. You have the urban core, where I'm kind of in the urban core here, which would be Hammond, Gary, EC, Whiting, maybe Michigan City a little bit. And then you go a little bit further, and then you would get, starts with your suburban areas of Munster, Highland, Griffiths, and then it kind of goes into Cherville and maybe Maryville. And then you go into your more conservative, semi-rural areas. That would be South Lake County. And I'm like, that was a really good portrayal of who we are. And for that reason, I will bring up the article and talk a little bit about it. But we got to hear from Andrew first. Andrew does, of course, 219 News Now, and here it is on the voice and face of the Calumet region. Why not, huh?
219 News Now is brought to you by the South Shore Line and by Strachan Van Til, making lives easier for 95 years.
I'm Andrew Garcia, and this is your 219 News Now. Gas prices in northwest Indiana have surged by 19 cents per gallon following recent storms that led to flooding at the BP Whiting refinery. This has caused the average price of gasoline in the region to reach $3.34 per gallon, with the refinery's outage anticipated to push prices up by 15 to 35 cents in the upper Midwest. National gas prices have also increased by 3.4 cents per gallon over the past week, with potential fluctuations expected in the coming months due to factors such as refinery restarts and geopolitical developments. Bruce Dawson and Rich Stranis, who previously collaborated on Jimmy John's franchises, have embarked on a new venture to bring Nashville hot chicken to Valparaiso with their concept Brewmans. Chef Vincent Garza has developed the secret hot chicken recipe for the menu, which includes customizable sandwich options across 5 heat levels. Despite initial setbacks due to the pandemic, Brewmans has finally opened its doors, offering a menu that also includes sides and Southern-style banana pudding. A police officer investigating the discovery of marijuana found in a parked vehicle discovered a residence in Valparaiso filled with filth and neglect, leading to the arrest of a 52-year-old woman and a 20-year-old man. The woman is facing charges of neglect of a dependent and animal neglect, while the man is charged with possessing marijuana. The officer found dirty clothes, garbage, and neglected dogs in kennels inside the residence, where 3 adults, 2 young people, and 2 children were living. And in sports, the IU football team reached the college football playoff in 2024 and won a program-best 11 games. The Hoosiers will begin their new season on Saturday, and the voice of IU football, Don Fisher, details how the makeup of the team and its expectations have changed over the course of the year.
In my mind, there's no doubt he can get it done again, because I think he did a tremendous job in the recruiting of the transfer portal. He's got a great bunch of freshmen coming in this year. There's no doubt about that. And 2 or 3 of those guys will probably end up playing some football this season for IU. But there was a lot of work to do in the transfer portal. Signetti did that. He got a new quarterback. He got a couple of new offensive linemen that were really critical, which is always the point. You've got to have a strong offensive line and defensive line if you're going to compete in this conference. Indiana's rarely had that in the past, but they certainly had a better offensive line a year ago. And I think this year's team is much deeper in the offensive line than they have been for some time. So there are a lot of things that your question marks that people have about Indiana football right now, but the one that I'm not worried about is we've got one of the best coaches in the country.
To read about more local news and headlines, visit jedtv.com and nwi.com. I'm Andrew Garcia, and this has been your 219 News Now.
All right, guys. AM 1230, WJOB 104.7 FM. I'm Jim Dedelow, and I'm hanging out with you on a Tuesday morning. I'll take your phone calls, go through some other news around the Calumet region, and all that right after this.
You got a fast car. I got a plan to get us out of here. Been working at the convenience store. Managed to save just a little bit of money. Won't have to drive too far. Just cross the border and into the city. You and I can both get jobs and finally see what it means to be living. See, my old man's got a problem. Yeah, with the bottle, that's the way it is. He says his body's too old for working. Body's too young to look like his. My mama went off and left him. She wanted more from life than he could give. I said somebody's got to take care of him. So I quit school and that's what I did. You got a fast car. Is it fast enough so we can fly away? We gotta make a decision. Leave tonight or live and die this way. So I remember when we were driving in your car. Speed so fast I felt like I was drunk. City lights day out before us, and your arm felt nice wrapped around my shoulder. And I had a feeling that I belonged. I had a feeling I could be someone. Be someone. You got a fast car. We go cruise and entertain ourselves. Still ain't got a job. Now work in the market as a checkout girl. I know things will get better. You'll find work and I'll get promoted. And we'll move out of the shelter. Buy a bigger house and live in the suburbs. So I remember when we were driving in your car. Speed so fast it felt like I was drunk. City lights lay out before us, and your arm felt nice wrapped around my shoulder. And I had a feeling that I belonged. I had a feeling I could be someone, be someone, be someone. You got a fast car, I got a job that pays all our bills. Instead of drinking late at the bar, see more your friends than you do your kids. I'd always hope for better, thought maybe together you and me find it. I got no plans, I ain't going nowhere. Take your fast car and keep on driving. So I remember when we were driving in your car. Speed so fast, I felt like I was drunk. City lights lay out before us, and your arm felt nice wrapped around my shoulder. And I had a feeling that I belonged. I had a feeling I could be someone, be someone, be someone. You got a fast car. Fast enough so you can fly away. You gotta make a decision. Leave tonight or live and die this way.
Hey everybody, AM 1230, WJOB 104.7 FM, the voice and face of the region. I'm Jim Dedelow hanging out, and let's take a look at what's going on the roadways. 294 around the city looks pretty good. 80 going east and west, that looks pretty good also. Your problem is already on the Bishop Ford. I don't know why it was heavy so early, but it is from the Steel Bridge all the way to the Dan Ryan. Dan Ryan itself looks pretty wide open. Skyway, Toll Road, Borman, I-65. I wouldn't say that the Bishop Ford is enough to make you go up onto the Skyway, not yet, but I'll keep an eye on it. I will also take the first swig of coffee of the day, and I hope you like it, because that was pretty good, man. It's that first swig. It was like, does it get any better than that? Well, yeah, it does, as soon as the caffeine kicks in. Hot, just made on Mad Max Coffee Maker. I mean, it's really good. Let's take a look at weather, what's going on around the Calumet region. Right now, it's 46 degrees here at 53 degrees. Why did I say 46? 52 degrees here at the Strachan Van Til Studios. It's about as cool as it's gotten. You got wind gusts up, and there's really no wind. It's out of the west-northwest at about 2 miles an hour. Air quality is fair. Just looking ahead at a pretty decent week and weekend. And so your high today, let's call it 71 degrees. Nice with partial sunshine. Tomorrow gets a little bit warmer. Sun in areas of high clouds, and very nice tomorrow, high of 77. Thursday, 74. You might get that little late afternoon thunderstorm coming our way, but other than that, it should be a pretty decent day also. And then by Friday, it's a high of only 69. Nice with times of clouds and sun. 8 football games we had on Friday night. What a victory of sorts for Sam Michael and Peter Krakowski and Ben Cohort of the JED TV Sports Network. And the many people that have come together to make this happen, namely guys like Mike Schultz of Munster, the athletic director, Neil Demos out at Andrean. We, of course, have a full slate of games on Friday night, especially with our partners, the Regional Radio Sports Network. That's Hall of Fame announcers Paul Condry and Mike Knezevich. Both of them are very integral into what we're doing on Friday nights. And then on Saturday night, we're going to do something we have never done, and that is we're going to do a kind of a game day kickoff celebration in front of the Fort Wayne Lures at Andrean game. And that'll be in the parking lot right there by the football field. I don't know how it's going to go. I won't be there probably. But it'll be Saturday, and it'll be 3 to 5. I think the game's at 6 on Saturday. It's not a 7 o'clock game. So if you want to come out and just see a football game, should be a really good football game. Lures at Andrean. Andrean kind of got kicked around a little bit last week at Maryville. And it's always at Maryville. I did not know that game was always at Maryville. I thought they rotated back to Andrean, but evidently they have some crowd control and it's just better at Maryville, so they always play the Battle of Broadway at Maryville. Or as far as I could tell, it's always at Maryville. And this game will be an Andrean home game. If you know anything about going out there, and you can't drink alcohol on the property, so don't expect to pull into the parking lot and do that. Probably the parking lot will probably be pretty full kind of early, but there are some surrounding areas that are very close that people will sometimes park in and partake in whatever the hell they want to partake in it. But one of the hosts of the, I don't know what they're calling it, kickoff, Saturday kickoff, and they'll have some guests and maybe even a couple surprise celebrity guests, and they'll play some videos that some famous Andrean people may have sent in and that kind of stuff. I think I'm giving it away, aren't I? But I'm not gonna. But Joe Cimino, who sometimes sits in this seat right here, kind of the big lanky quarterback they had a few years ago, he will be one of the hosts, along with, I'm not even sure, but I know some other people will be there to bring in the guests and talk to the folks, and they'll have some speakers out there. And then I from what I understand, the following week, we're going to do the same thing at Griffith, and we're going to do that on a Friday night. But we'll just see how it goes. I have no idea what's going to happen. As a matter of fact, I'm very congratulatory to the guys and the women for putting this sports network together and trying to kind of gathering everybody in. And if you guys have seen, if you've gone to a game, an NCC game, which would be the 8 schools of the NCC, they're putting out a little paper. So JED TV, Sports Network, and the Times have come together to put this little paper out. It's each school gets a little paper right before the game. So that'll come out tomorrow, and it'll recap some of the games that have happened. They'll do other sports. And it's not really a program, but it is just a rundown of what is going on at each of those schools. And, of course, in those little papers, we are featured prominently about promoting the games. It's the first time the Times has done this across America, and they'd like to take it to other markets. I think they're in 72 markets with their papers. And it's all based on how it goes with the NCC. And I know that there's been some issues in the rollout and that kind of thing, and I'm hoping that some of those issues get resolved. But in the end, it is a way to basically double the exposure, or just bring out the exposure for the student athletes and for the games being on TV. You can also go to the Times website on Friday night if you can, and you can watch the games from there. But we, of course, would like you to also download the JED TV app on your smartphone and on your smart TV in your living room, and you'll be like, I can't believe I can go. I think on Friday you could go back and forth between 8 high school games. You won't have that this Friday because it'll be a little less. And then you'll have a game on Saturday you'll be able to watch also. So it's kind of grown way faster than I ever thought it would. And if you have noticed on the app, we're making a transition to the app just being the JED TV Sports Network, as that has taken over a lot. And I'm not really sure how that, like right now I'm live, we're renting the JED TV Sports Network if you want to watch me. I think we're still in the process of figuring out where do those old shows go. And I think you can get it partly by going to WJOB1230.com. So anyways, it's just some notes to clean up what's happening. I do want to, well, let me just, I know a bunch of people are waiting, so let's take your phone calls and see how you're doing. And then I've got some stuff I want to talk about. Hey, you're on the air. How are you?
Hey, I'm doing great, Jed. What a time to be alive, man. 6:27 a.m. I got up early. I mean, all these things went bonkers overnight. And I just want to know how Trump fans out there, how did they let it happen so fast? And how are they going to defend it? I mean, I don't know if you remember, but in the near past, I've said there might be an event that makes COVID look like kindergarten. You remember how I've been saying this for a while? Well, it's almost here, Jed. But let's talk about what happened yesterday, because two things Trump has done, I am beyond interested. I mean, I've got it flooded with calls to get Brad in on this one to ask how Trump fans, or anyone literally for that matter, is going to explain two big things. For one, he's going to let in 600,000 Chinese kids into the country and give them college precedence over our American students. Go listen to what Lutnick had to say yesterday. Quote, if you didn't have those 6,000 Chinese students, the bottom 15% of colleges will go out of business. So is this guy selling our children, our sons and daughters on the way to college? Is he selling them out for money? That's not America First, folks. There is nothing America First about that. And secondly, really quickly, if I don't mind, since I got up so early, I love my armed forces. I have many friends that are in the armed forces, from start to finish, from guys that are decorated snipers to guys that peel potatoes. And I've called a few. But to me, besides loving the armed forces, my main and most important right as a U.S. citizen is my freedom of speech. And knowing that I respect anyone, including a veteran, I had to make a point here. Do you know what happened yesterday with an executive order that he signed? You're not allowed to burn an American flag anymore, or that results in 1 year in prison. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. You've just taken that away. Now, I personally do not think it's okay to burn a flag. I don't. I like my country. I don't want to disrespect it. But I also have to respect what rights I have here and what everybody else has, because this is a special place. And if you want to burn whatever the hell you want, you better be able to burn it. Okay, now this is a big political doozy here, okay? And I think there's more to it. And that event that I'm talking about just might turn out to be a mass arrest of people in 19 states. Why is the National Guard immediately being federalized? What kind of event is going to happen? I mean, you got Obama out there making speeches that he may just need his voter base to not believe whatever it is about we're about to hear. So I don't know. I just wanted your thoughts on that. What do you think about burning the flag? Because do you think it's going to just stop there? And do you think before you know it, they're going to ask me to burn out my tongue as well? I don't know. I'm really on the fence, man. I'm really weary. I've been saying it since the start.
I think one of the things that is kind of exemplary, and or you're an example of, is
thank you,
that things are happening so fast and so deeply divided, and one way of Trump kind of going towards some sort of chaos kind of thing, and then Democrats going toward the status quo kind of, and really not knowing what to do. And it's really a very difficult time to kind of internalize everything that's happening, and it can really get you down. And it doesn't even if you're a Trumper or you're an anti-Trumper, it doesn't matter. Or if you're trying in the middle and you're just watching a tennis match going back and forth, which is really good tennis on TV right now. I don't think that in my lifetime I've been on the air, which I've been on the air off and on for 40 years, and certainly not on the air, but even in my personal life when I'm going out and I talk to people, it's like two different worlds. It seems like most people kind of get along here in the region, and you go places and hey, how you doing? How you doing? Go to a family picnic and everybody's on different sides, and then you go and you watch what's happening on TV all day long and what's happening in Washington, and it's complete cluster truck, and it's just complete venom and scratching for power and money that isn't really what's happening here on the ground. Does that make sense? It's like two Americas.
Oh, absolutely. It's unbelievable. Everyone is choosing the lesser of what they believe are two evils. And I refuse. And in the end, I'm going to win. I'm going to be the one that sits above.
What you're doing is really the hardest way, because you're basically fighting two wars. Because if you're trying to keep yourself above the fray or outside of it or just watching it, it's almost impossible with the amount of messages and with the amount of kind of hatred that is going on in America to do that. It's overwhelming, and I think you've heard me talk about it too. In that, I've been doing this all these years. I have never felt this amount of venom in what comes to us from our computers and our phones and our TVs, and then kind of lack of venom on the streets. Doesn't make any sense to me. I can't even figure it out.
No, and you notice there's no venom or anything unless politics are brought up. And that's where my point is, that no one will stand in the middle anymore and actually put these guys to the wall and say, I don't care what party you're with. You are to be watched like a hawk, because you're both abide by Congress, and it's all corrupted from start to finish in one way or another, and nobody wants to stand up. And I'm sorry if that destroys the system. I'm sorry if that rocks your world. But until we hold everyone accountable for what's going on here, we are going down the worst path we could ever go down. This is just anti-American as it can get. If you can't say that I've lost my freedom of speech, it's a piece of cloth. And yes, it has a ton of things. I have family and friends that have literally died in war and have gone over to Iraq and have sick, lost problems. But they were on the phone with me last night saying, well, I still think they should be able to burn the flag. I mean, it's their right. Not everybody's right here. So I'm really interested to see how everyone is going to defend and spin this. This is going to be beyond belief.
I don't know about that one. You know what I mean? It's
which one?
I obviously I defend free speech, but I'm going to hang up and tell you a story that happened a long time ago. Hey, man, I'm with you. I understand the frustration in both sides and even people trying to stay out of it. And I don't have any solutions. Honestly, I think it's going to get much, much worse before it improves.
I do too. I think
right, man. Thanks for your phone
morning
call.
Radio to get going. You got it. Have a good one.
So I very rarely tell anything to do with, when I went to Berkeley and went to school. I think it's just like a book I'll write one day or whatever. But I don't want to give too much up about how I lived and so forth, but I lived a kind of alternative lifestyle with boxing, and I boxed all around the West Coast. Believe it or not, it's my nose. You can see it. I just got hit so many times in the face. But anyways, so I meet this woman, and so we start hanging around, and she's like all into protesting things, and I forget what it was. I think it was like CIA out of Nicaragua. So here I am, this Midwestern dude, right? And I'm just kind of hanging out of, and she's like, hey, you want to go to this protest with me? And I'm a boxer, right? So, I think I had a little cut eye, and I got my hair short, and she's like, well, hey, can you put this shirt on? And I'm like, what's it say? It's like CIA out of Nicaragua, if I remember. I go, well, I'll tell you what. I got a Grateful Dead shirt on. I'll just put that on. It kind of fits the scene, right? So I put that on, and I go walking out there, and we go to this protest. I don't know anything about what they're protesting, but I do know that I was often very singular in my purpose and mission of garnering favors from young women, okay? It happened to be for about 10, 12 years until I met Alexis, it was the number one thing on my mind when I woke up in the morning. And when it was 2 o'clock, when it's, let's say it's midnight at a bar in California and none of your high school buddies there, no Joe Preboy, no Dan Nagy, no Dennis Wood. And you know what? You kind of, you open up the, the different regulations and the different rules that might, they might apply in certain areas here in the region, would not apply there. And, but anyways, she was really pretty, and, I'm kind of taken under the whole thing. So we go and we're walking in this protest, and I'm like, just the Midwestern dude going, what am I supposed to say? All right, CIA out of Nicaragua. Why is the CIA in Nicaragua, and why do we want them out of Nicaragua? I don't know. But I'm walking along with this woman and then some of her friends, and then it's going all the way through campus, and it's a big protest. But then there's some anti-protesters, right? And some guys from some of the fraternities and stuff. One of them I knew, he was a boxer also. And they're kind of coming along, and there's a few hundred people. And I'm like, wow, this is actually kind of interesting. It's kind of like doing the morning show now. People are yelling at each other, screw you, blah, blah, blah. And then finally, one of the protesters, the CIA out of Nicaragua side, starts burning the American flag. And then there's like 3 or 4 other dudes with it. And I'm like, hey, dude, you shouldn't be doing that. What are you doing? And so I walk up there, and I'm like, hey, don't do this. And then they're like, oh, who are you? Blah, blah, blah. I thought you were on our side. I go, hey, I'm on America's side here, and don't burn the flag. And one guy stands up next to me and kind of bumps up against me, and I'm like, uh-oh, not at this time of life, because all I had at all in the boxing ring was a pretty good right hook. And so he's pushed me, all right, and I back up, and then the other guy stands up. And so next thing you know, I'm kind of in a little scuffle with these guys. And at the same time, the fraternity guys that are on the other side, on the, I guess, the more conservative side, get involved. And then there's this big melee of guys punching each other. And, I was one of the people in it, and I'm not even really sure what side I'm punching people on. I mean, is he on the defending the burning of the flag, or is this guy saying, no, don't burn but it just became a big melee, and then it was on the front page of like the national newspapers the next day. So I'm not the person to ask about burning the flag. I'm certainly a defender of free speech, but come on, man. I mean, there's got to be a few things that are sacred, but do you say, all right, it's sacred, but we still have to tolerate the fact that a guy wants to, a man or a woman or a group wants to burn the American flag? I don't know. My jury is out on that one. All I know is that I'm in a fight, and I don't even know who I'm punching or what side I'm on. And the moral of that story was that the woman saw that, I was like, hey, don't do that. And I was like confronting her friends who were burning the flag. And man, she never talked to me again. Needless to say, I didn't get any of the desired outcome that I was looking for. But anyways, 219-845-1100. Hey, you're on the air. How are you?
Jimmy, boy, how things haven't changed in your little brain at all, have they? You had no idea what was going on back then, and you still got no clue today, baby. I love it.
You know what? To some extent, I think you're right. I'm kind of in a tizzy right now. I can't make sense of the world right now. Can you?
I've been that way for about 40 years with you, though. Don't worry.
Can you make sense of what's happening in America right now?
Yeah. You know what I can? Because I remember telling you this back in 2015 when Trump was running to get elected. I go, this is going to be a battle between good versus evil. This is a battle between a group of people who want to take a guy who murdered 3 people, trafficked women, beat the hell out of his wife 4 times, and she prosecuted him for it. And you got Democrats trying to keep that idiot in what's out in California? He's in Maryland. They want to keep that guy in America and give him rights. He killed people. He trafficked children into the United States. He turned little Mexican girls into whores. He beat his wife. And
So,
they're
wait a
defending
second.
that guy.
We're talking not about Epstein, right?
Yeah, not about. It's that Mexican dude. And,
I know which case
yeah,
you're
with
about.
the
I thought
terrible haircut. His name
when
is
you
like
started saying
Akalaka
trafficking
Bika.
young women, I thought you were going to go to the Epstein thing because.
No one can listen. That's the stupidest thing I've heard. But that doesn't matter.
So wait, I just want to make sure to understand. There's good and evil in America right now. Who's the good guys?
The good guys are the conservative, like Dave from Gary mentioned yesterday. Well, what is conservatism? What is conservatism? Or if you have to ask the question, here's what conservatism is to a Democrat. It's the George Costanza theory. Whatever you think you should do, or whatever you think is right, do the opposite. Because everything the Democrats do is either usually insane, immoral, or borderline illegal. Like all of a sudden, just like that lady down in Crown Point with the Democrats who owns like 10 rental properties, and she checked the box saying, "Yeah, they're all my homestead. They're my permanent resident," and taking the big tax deduction, and then gets caught. Like that gigantic woman who's on the Federal Reserve Board who got fired yesterday. Like the gigantic woman who tried to put Trump in jail because he borrowed a bunch of money and paid it back. And then he brought every single one of those bankers from Deutsche Bank in and said, "Hey, I borrowed money and I paid you back, right?" And they go, "Yeah, we got no crime here." But Lieutenant James tries to take $500 million out of the guy, and it got all overturned.
So, I mean, that's a roundabout way of saying that if you're with Trump, you're on the good side, and if you're not with Trump, you're on the evil side. Is that right?
Yeah, you're pretty much right on the nose, Jimmy. Exactly. Hey, I got to ask you, when Bradley Gimble just called in, did he tell you that he thinks that Trump never got shot? There was no suicide attempt or no assassination attempt on him. He thinks he thinks Trump getting shot was fake. He doesn't believe that happened. He thinks that guy who got killed, the young man who was the firefighter, a father with 3 girls, he thinks that was all fake. Did he mention that?
You know, I don't know, but I would refrain from telling doing hearsay about somebody else. And if he wants to call in and say that, I'll certainly take it. So if I can summarize here,
I'll put up $100.
If I could summarize here,
$100.
we have so far had a caller who is bewildered in the middle, and then we have a caller who is saying that Trump all good, anything not Trump evil. Okay, does that summarize it so far?
Oh, are you talking about Brad was your prior caller who you're saying was the guy who's
He's bewildered and can't figure things out?
Clueless in the middle?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's sort of like when Harlow used to be on the air, and he's like, I'm in the middle. Hey, listen, champ, you get in the middle, you get run over. Pick
All right. Hey, I got so many things to ask you, but I got to move it along. Hey, you're on the air. How are you?
All Trump good, everything else evil. 2-1.
Explain.
Why does Brandon Marshall and who's the fat jelly belly in the?
What is wrong with you? Can't it just be a Governor Pritzker of Illinois?
Yeah, you know what?
Come on, man.
You know who I'm talking to. You know exactly who Jelly Belly was. So who's the bad guy? Me for saying it, or you for knowing what I'm saying?
Well, there is a little gray line there. I'll give you, but all right. So, all right, all not Trump bad, all Trump good. Don't you find any danger in, just blind following of one man?
I'm going to turn that around on you, Jimmy. I'm going to play devil's advocate, Marsha Honey, God rest his soul. Can you find anything good in what Trump is doing? And I got one more point. I don't want you to hang up on me. Can you find anything good Can you admit to anything good in your opinion that Trump's doing?
Oh, why would you ask that question? We've gone through this many times.
Because I know the answer.
We've gone through this many times about the general attitude of shaking up Washington, D.C. is something that, you know, I have been an advocate for a long time, and that there are people entrenched in their positions and in their thinkings, and the elitism that was growing in the Democratic Party is just something that is just awful. And he was able to come in and kind of shake that up. You know, one of the things right now that I don't think people really want to admit that are in the middle or on the left, even the talk about crime, and I'm not an advocate of using the armed forces for crime. I don't think that you should do that. But the talking about crime and admitting that it's difficult to go to Chicago and feel safe is very much a positive, because that has happened, and it has happened on these airwaves. Remember 12 years ago when Al Hamnick said, he goes, hey, it's going to get to the point where a family's not going to want to go to Chicago because it's too dangerous.
And didn't he lose his job for that?
Hit. He got hit hard. Well,
didn't he lose his job for saying that?
I don't know if that's why, but I'm certainly it was a factor in how he was, you know, it wasn't, and I was like, dude, that's the reality of what's happening and why he got so much heat for that. I'm still bewildered at it.
Well, the proof is in the pudding. Look at the District of Columbia. They've not had a murder there for over 2 weeks now. Pritzker and Brandon Marshall would rather see that city burn down than see Trump be successful with bringing in the National Guard. That's what the current Democratic Party is. They would rather it burn down. But I want to ask you a question on another topic real quick. Who's that little curmudgeon you have? The former Democratic chair? Who's that little troll guy?
You can't do that. I mean, I took the bait on Governor Pritzker. You're going to have to rack your own brain.
Wiser, the wiser guy. You keep talking about how wiser he's become more aggressive and more emotional and more temperamental towards national and local politics since he stepped down. And Jimmy, I want to ask you a question to that point. When McDermott was on last week, I was watching. And when he announced he's a mental midget and he's going to see a therapist, the look on your face, it was like you got hit by a truck. What was the first thought that went through your mind when McDermott announced on these airwaves that he's going to see a psychiatrist, that his head's not right?
Well, first of all, I think you're making the wrong characterization of that conversation in two ways. One, that's not what he said. He never said his head wasn't right or whatever. He just said, I'm in therapy.
Why do you go?
And the second part of that is, I completely applaud that when people have, I mean, that's what I went to school for. And I was out here at South Lake Center for Mental Health. I was a therapist and worked with people. And I've always applauded that you can talk through some of your issues. And I was just not very good at it and got out of it. But, you know, I was a counselor at a house, and that involved some of the group therapies and individual meetings and stuff. And I've always been a big fan of that when you need it. And it shines a light on the fact that you can have mental difficulties, either mental illness or challenges. So you're saying the exact opposite, that if you're seeing a therapist, you know, that you're doing something wrong there. So I don't even know where I'm supposed to answer that question.
I didn't expect to get a straight answer. It's just the look on your face. If you will play it back, it's astounding when he announced he's going to see a therapist. And
I know what it was. It was, I mean, he's saying that, and quite frankly, you know, I've interviewed 10,000 people in all these years. Sometimes my mind wanders a little bit, but it got my attention. You know, he was like, Dewey's talking, and then all of a sudden he's like, well, I'm in therapy. I'm like, whoa, that's kind of an odd thing to admit. But, I applaud it. I applaud A, admitting it, and B, doing it. But
whatever.
It got my attention. Kind of like when you're talking. If people look at me, they'd be like, "Is he really listening or not?" I don't know.
I'm just curious. You know, we entrust these guys to run our government and be our leaders. And I'll be honest with you, man. If I'm going to run through a wall for a guy, I want to make sure he knows how to spell wall before I run through it. And I got my questions now. You know, when a guy, whatever. You know.
So so you agree with Mad Mac, like all good Trump, evil if you're not Trump.
Without a doubt. In today's Democratic Party, abso-flippin-lutely. Yeah, without a doubt. Trump 100%, brother.
Now, do you think that that's how a lot of people in America just have such a very black and white, cut and dried way of thinking about Trump? And it's like, anything he does, I'm good. Anything not Trump is bad. I mean, do you think there's a lot of people, or is it?
That question was answered on Election Day. This is what we voted for. More Trump, less Democratic BS.
All right, man. Hey, thanks for the phone call. Talk to you. All right, one more, then I got to take a break. Hey, you're on the air.
Hey, dude, I just need to tell you, don't brag about taking advantage of drug-addled women anymore, all right? It's not good. It's not a good look.
How do you guys stretch it to that?
Seriously.
Anyways, thank you. I said I would take one more, but that was a fake call. Hey, how are you? Hey, is Jed there?
Hello?
Hello, is Jed there?
Hey, so just a little insider baseball for you. I had a friend come, he lives in D.C. for about 3 years now, and he came in over the weekend. And I asked him, I said, well, what's it like? And he's like, you just walk around and you just have this sense of overwhelming, just safe. And he said him and his coworkers and everybody, they love it. He said it's completely changed. He said you walk around, you go out in the evening, you walk, and you don't even think twice. And he said it's great.
You know what? That is, I think when a guy asks, like, what is, positive out of this, there are two parts. Do you want to start using the military, and then how far can that go? And that could be a big problem down the line. But in the short term, Chicago is a mess, man, and it's not safe in many areas. And I agree with you. The hotel rooms are creeping up. I was thinking of maybe going up for a night over Labor Day. Now they're like through the roof because everybody's kind of looking at it and trying to be safe. And by that time, they may have federal troops.
Yeah, but
hey, hold on a second. I got to tell you something. I put this app on my phone to get the distance to yardage, and I have to put in scores, right? So I put in a bunch of scores, and it had my handicap way too low, okay? And I don't want that because I got to play with my buddies sometimes, right? So I had to go back and get my springtime rounds and put them in, and now I'm back to right around where I should be. But it's so cool that you can look on your phone and see exactly how far you are out. I've never had that. I never paid attention to any of the distance or anything like that. I'm like, this looks like a 7-iron. And what a difference it makes in your game.
Yeah, I'll say this. This is the time of the year where it seems like it starts to come together. It's usually like April and May. It's like, oh, gosh, do I really just suck? And it seems like mid-August, early September, it's like, all right, we're getting this thing going,
Did you play in the MGA?
No, I had a funeral.
Yeah, I've been pretty much when football's coming, I can't play in it anymore, but I'm going to play in that last one in September.
Palmyra, yeah.
Yeah, the Palmyra one. But I got this thing, it's called Swing U, SWINGU. And so it's got my handicap now, I think, around where it should be, like 14, I think is what it is. I'm hoping to get it up to 16 somehow, but you really just got to lie to have that happen.
Oh, yeah. But yeah, I got a GPS. It's a watch, and I just throw it in a cup holder, and then it comes with an app that does something similar to what you're talking about, but I've never used it.
Yeah,
I'm
all in because here's the reason. There's only one golf instructor that I've ever really listened to or watched, and that's Ben Hogan, because he says two things. He goes, swing with your legs. Don't worry about all that other stuff and all that, whatever. Swing with your legs and don't have any tension in your body. And that, if you just do that, you're going to hit the ball solid most of the time. But he used to say, and so did Jack Nicklaus, that don't go to the pin, go to the center of the green. Always. He goes, don't worry about it, because your mind will draw you to that pin, even if you're going to the center of the green. It's like tricking your mind.
Interesting.
And so I got this app. I was looking for an app that would only have the center of the green and not do the pin. And it took a while, but I found this one. All right, man. I'll let you know how it works after Golf League tonight. Talk to you. See you. All right, I'll be right back on the Voice and Face of the Region.
When they come to take you down, when they bring that wagon around, when they come to call on you and drag your poor body down, just one thing I ask of you. Just one thing for me. Please forget you knew my name, my darling, Sugary. Shake it, Sugary. Just don't tell them that you know me. 1, 2, 3, 4. When they come to take you down, when they bring that wagon around, when they come to call on you and drag your poor body down, just one thing I ask of you. Just one thing for me. Please forget you knew my name, my darling, Sugary. Shake it, Sugary. Just don't tell them that you know me. Shake it, Sugary. Just don't tell
All right. Is that really the Dead, or is that a cover? Is that a cover? Come on. No, that's off of. That's a Jerry Garcia one, right? That's a Jerry Garcia. Yeah, I don't think that's the Dead. That's Jerry Garcia band. Hey, how is everybody? AM 1230, WJOB 104.7 FM. I'm Jim Dedelow. I'm the owner here. And as Kuziak says, you doing the morning show is like me getting on the roof and pounding in a nail. And I'm like, I don't care, because here I am. And let's take a look at traffic. 294 around the city is a little bit heavy as you get up past Bridgeview and you get into Indian Head Park. Maybe, I don't know, maybe 5 or 7 minute delay. Don't think you're just zipping up to O'Hare. You should be okay going to Midway. Going out to Joliet on 80, it looked pretty good. The Bishop Ford's been kind of heavy all morning long. I'm not really sure. I don't see an accident or anything, but it's heavy Bishop Ford into the Dan Ryan. It's that time of year. Usually this kind of traffic starts after Labor Day, but we are in the middle of, I don't know why it's so heavy all of a sudden, but no accident, and it kind of starts to slow down at, say, Sibley, and kind of stays heavy all the way up until about 67th Street, and then it opens up on Dan Ryan. Skyway Toll Road looked good. Borman looks good. All that stuff. But what a beautiful day, man. Just gorgeous. The sun rose above Randy Gottschalk's office over here, and then it's just kind of hanging above these two women in here that we're going to introduce here in a second. And it's nice with partial sunshine. Right now, it's 53 degrees here along the Borman. It's 52 degrees at Plumbers Local 210 in Maryville/Hobart. And then it is 53 degrees at Laborers Local 41 in Munster. And it is 51 degrees, and where Ronnie Ware is probably already by now, at Ironworkers Local 395 in Portage. So your high, actually, they've adjusted up a little bit. A high of, say, 72 now, 77 Wednesday, 74 on Thursday. And Friday, big night for high school football. We'll have a bunch of games on JED TV. Please download the JED TV app on your phone and on your smart TV. We get kind of a nick in the steering wheel every time somebody downloads the app. And then since it's on your TV, you might go, what am I going to watch? And the next thing you know, you're watching a great football game or a great volleyball match or a good soccer match. All that stuff is on the JED TV Sports Network app. It is no longer the JED TV app, as it's primarily sports. And if you want to watch old WJOB shows, which I'm doing now, you go to WJOB1230.com. Right now, though, I'm live. We rent the JED TV Sports Network from 5 until 11 is what ultimately the plan is. Taking a little while to get it done. But anyways, it goes all the way into next week, where it's just a beautiful time. Your grass is going to get a little straw-filled, and the moles are going to come out because they want to eat the grubs that want the moisture on top. So I don't know about you, but my lawn in the back, which I have been trying to get rid of the crabgrass all year long, is just like a little minefield. Don't walk out there unless you got your ankles taped, because the moles are just like making little rivers everywhere, and you turn your ankle, and next thing you know, you got to sit home and not go to Golf League. All right, I got two guests that have to wait just a second because I got to take a couple phone calls. Hey, you're on the air. How are you?
Oh, I'm just fine. Tell Brandon Johnson to, since crime's down in Chicago, to ride the L at midnight without his entourage or his bodyguards. And tell him to wear his Rolex while he's at it, his gold chain. What, are you kidding me? They're looting stores on Michigan Avenue in broad daylight.
So do we bring in the federal military to fix the problem?
Absolutely. The police department can't handle it. The same way the INS couldn't handle the border. You got to bring in the troops to control it.
What about in the region? Should we have the troops come into the region?
Put them on the border. Let's keep these people from coming into Indiana.
So wait a second. Put federal troops on the border between Indiana and Illinois.
Absolutely. Ask the people what they want, not these jughead politicians. The people want the guard in Chicago. All people in Chicago want the guard, all races. People are afraid. You can't go down there, Jim. It's not safe.
Hey, what about the thing that the last two callers said? Trump all good, everything not Trump bad.
Come on, let's look at what's going on. Let's compare Indiana to Illinois. Illinois is broke. Anybody can see that they're broke. Chicago's billions of dollars in debt. Illinois, the pensions are ridiculous. They're like 35% funded. Well, the Chicago school system is $1 billion in the hole. How are these Democrats think they're going to fix all these things? They're going to raise taxes. How much more can you raise taxes?
Well, you bring up an interesting thing, because I was reading the article that I want to get to out of USA Today, and they're saying that a lot of people are moving to Indiana partly because of the political climate in Illinois, and they're coming here, and you could see that Lake County keeps getting more and more Republican, mostly because many of the people moving from Illinois aren't just escaping taxes, they're escaping a kind of a way of life. And so what happens if they come in and they redistrict thing and you have 9 Republicans from Indiana? Does it start to go the other way? Do people start to leave the state of Indiana who don't feel comfortable here and don't feel like they have any voice whatsoever? And that is an interesting question.
Yeah, and you know what the answer is? Let's divide the damn country. If you want to live in a blue state, go live in a blue state. If you want abortion, if you want people to no cash bail, go live in a blue state. If you want law and order, if you want low taxes, you move to a red state. This country's so divided; it's never going to come back together.
No, that's not true.
Before.
I disagree with that. I agree with it. It's so divided, and I'm trying to get you going, but I don't agree with that. I agree. I think that we are all Americans, and that at some point we will remember that. Now, it may cause, may take a traumatic event, but
yeah, it's going to be the next Civil War. That's what's going to end up happening. Yeah, we'll all come together. The winning side will take over.
Now, I kind of agree with you. I feel like we're headed toward that, and it's kind of weird. All right, man. Hey, thanks. Hey, you're on the air. Go ahead.
Hey, Jim, it's Vinny.
Hey, Vinny, how are you?
And me and Sandy were talking. She would give up a dozen parlor donuts for Donald Trump. She loves Trump. And you know, Sandy, taking her donuts, it's like taking a sardine from a walrus. That ain't happening.
You know, I got to say, Vinny, your Pittsburgh Pirates are having a little trouble lately. What do you think about their relief pitching staff?
They're fantastic. They're going to be fine. Don't worry about them. The Steelers are fine. But all Trump...
All right, thanks a lot. Hey, you're on the air. Go ahead.
You took that hook, didn't you?
Man, I'm just like you're the last caller because these people have somewhere to go. Look, she's looking at her watch. Here, I'm going to show this.
Good. Well, we all have someplace to go except you.
Yeah, exactly. Go ahead.
Yeah, hey, when you go back and cherry pick your scores back in the spring to raise your handicap, that's called sandbagging.
That is not. That's called, you know, I put in my the guy said, he goes, yeah, later in the year you tend to shoot better. And I put like 5 scores in, and I go, yeah, that's way too low of a handicap. I go, I need to include spring in there too. And once I put in spring, it's like 2 different golfers.
You just said it out loud, though, and I imagine 1 or 2 of your friends listen. You just said, I really need to raise my handicap from 14 to 16.
Well, the swing you had me at 10, and I'm like, no, actually 9.7. I go, I haven't been a single-digit handicap in 25 years. So,
me either.
Yeah, but anyways, go ahead. Let's quit talking about it because a couple of my buddies do listen, and then they're going to say that I am sandbagging, especially when I come out and shoot a 39 today and win 2 skins. But anyways, go ahead.
And I'm all for going for the center of the green. That's a great philosophy. If you're a weekend warrior, that's it, man. Go for the center of the green. That's all you can do.
Yeah.
Good advice. Hey, you get you were earlier. You were talking about how angry people are and the discord and, the division. And you're right. I mean, it is. And the people that come on here that are screaming and are angry, they think they're winning.
They are winning.
In some sort of way, they think, the far right, if they allegedly call themselves the far right, I say locally, there's not much daylight between Democrats and Republicans locally.
No, it's just chaos or not chaos.
Yeah.
Who wants to shake things up or who wants the status quo? That's all the difference is.
Well, I don't even think either one of those apply today. I mean, we're living in a whole completely different world today. So
let me ask you this. All Trump, all good? Everything else all bad? Yes or no?
Well, no, of course not. That's the Marsha-Hani syndrome, right? And you have a lot of callers that call in. And, I could probably pick a handful of things that he's been successful. Would I have done him that way? I probably wouldn't have done them that way, but you know, we're a nation. We're a nation of laws, and you can't come here illegally. I mean, he said his whole campaign, among other things, that he lied, but you know, he said I'm going to close the border, and he did. I mean, whatever statistic you cherry pick that side wants to cherry pick, go ahead, but you know, you can't. You know, I'm not that. You know, I call balls and strikes. Right? If somebody, I don't care if they do a good job or if they say what they're, you know, a campaign promise or just any promise, then I'm going to say, hey, you did it. You know, that's just the way it is.
Hey, listen, you know how else it is? I have people in here that are here to promo something, and I'm making them wait like forever. So maybe I'll go along.
Well, you know, anticipation goes a long way, and when you create anticipation, it makes people want that product more, or tell them they can't have it.
You know what? Nothing. I'll just leave it clean there.
So about you know, you keep saying about bringing the National Guard in, and Trump's going to bring this, and Trump's going to do that. You've been with this station a long time, and you've been 1996. Mayor Scott King, who switched to being, he was a Democrat, then he switched to being an independent. Do you remember when he called 100 ISP officers in? And it was bedlam in the city.
Yeah, but it was safe for a little while. Well, it was actually worse afterwards, if I remember.
Well, exactly. Anytime you have an influx of officers or National Guard, yes, all the criminals are going to go underground, and they're going to wait till they leave, right? What you need is sustainability.
Hey, I mean, you need. What I need is to get along here. Call me back later, all right? I got to do this. All right. Hi, how are you? Somebody's mic is on.
Oh, hi. I didn't know.
And what's your name?
I'm Tracy Onahan.
And what's your name?
Renee Reinhardt.
And here's what's going to happen. This woman here is in charge, usually from 7 o'clock on. Okay. But I'm going to come out there. We're going to play a spot, and she's going to sit here and take her rightful place as the boss. And then you're going to have to, you know what? You could stay. You're going to be me, and then I'll sit over here in the other chair, and you'll interview both of us. How does that sound?
I love it.
All right. We'll be right back on the Voice and Face of the Region.
was a bloody day here in paradise. In paradise, and I ain't hard to find. Just looking out your window at the world outside. Paradise, and I ain't far away. Here in my head, it's just another day. Here in paradise, paradise. Now cardboard boxes line these city streets, fleeing home full of hearts full of misery. And I got a room with a view that's nice, living on the hot side here in paradise. In paradise, and it ain't hard to find. Just looking out your window at the world outside. Paradise.
All right, everybody, AM 1230, WJOB 104.7 FM, the voice and face of the region. Traffic is 294 around the city, looks pretty good. 80 going east and west looks good. The Bishop Ford and the Dan Ryan's been a little slower than normal. And I don't know why, all of a sudden the traffic's picking up. People are going to work in the city and that kind of stuff. You know what? Maybe it's anticipation of federal troops coming and saying, I don't know, but there is extra traffic on the Bishop Ford and the Dan Ryan, so don't think you're going to zip there. And the same thing on 294. It really starts to back up right when you get to O'Hare, so don't think you're going to zip there either. But here in the region, the Borman, I-65, all that stuff looks pretty good. Adriana Alvarez has started classes and has still come to work. This is her last undergraduate semester. In other words, she is going to graduate early so that she can be plucked away from me.
Possibly early, maybe. If they have classes for me next semester, I'm going to take them.
Well, who do I mean, I got some pull over here. You want me to use it?
Maybe.
Because the other option is she finishes her semester and then somebody that listens here and works at some company in Chicago, some media company, and lives in Indiana and listens on the way in is going to go, oh, well, why don't we interview her? And next thing you know, I get plucked away again. So if you want to go on, just tell me what classes you want, and let me go over there and talk to the director of curriculum. In the meantime, what's the weather?
So currently right now at the Strack and Van Til Studios, it is 53 degrees. Today we're seeing highs of 73 degrees with partial sunshine, and tonight lows of 52 degrees. Moving forward into the rest of the week, on Wednesday, highs of 76 degrees and lows of 61. Sun in areas and high clouds and nice weather. And then on Thursday, we're seeing a little bit of rain with highs of 74 degrees and lows of 56 degrees. Intervals of cloud and sunshine, a couple of thunder showers around the early afternoon.
How long do you think you'll have to work to be able to afford a purse like this?
You know,
look at this thing.
In this economy, right? Give me 5 years.
What does this CG mean, or is that GG?
It's Gucci. It was a present.
This, I mean, you know, I've had to go in and kind of wait outside in the mall. It's been years. And then my wife comes out with a purse, right? How much was that? Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
This
That's the right
is
answer.
expensive right here, isn't it? Very expensive. Who's it a present from?
My husband.
Well, so it's essentially you guys are buying it for yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's an investment.
You really probably deserve this, having to
100%.
live with him, whoever he is. But he's a nice, I mean, either he did something horribly wrong and had to buy you a really nice purse, or it's just an expression of love.
Definitely an expression of love.
This is, all right, here, I'm going to go bring it up here. I mean, I'm not all that into purses. Rick Federici would know. But this is really nice. Now, why is it 2 Gs? It's only 1, right? Is this the...
Show it again.
Right.
I up the exposure. You can't really see that.
All right. Can you see it now?
Go ahead and sit back down, and I'll zoom in on it.
All right.
Oh, man.
Well, I don't want to have a purse on my lap. So I'm going to get rid of this thing, and I'm going to put it out here so someone could steal it who's walking by. Your name, please?
Renee Reinhardt.
And?
Tracy Honahan.
All right. I said it. Renee, Tracy. And why are you guys here? What's going on?
Well, we're here to promote our fundraiser. It's a Munster Highland bike ride. So we're doing a poker run along our beautiful bike trails, September 7th. So it's Sunday. We're going to start at Fuzzy Line Brewery. We've got 7 additional stops. So I want to give a shout out to our participating partners. That's 313, New Oberfalls, Grindhouse, Wild Rose, Byway, SIP, Fuzzy Line, and The Worst. So it's a family-friendly event. You ride at your own pace. You can stop at many of those stops as you want, and you get a poker card at each stop, and the goal is to get a winning poker hand. So we'll wrap up at 3 p.m. at Fuzzy Line. We'll start a patio party there, and we'll have some cool prizes for the best poker hand and maybe even some for the worst.
All right, explain what a poker run is.
So you go to each of the stops, and we'll have a sister from Munster Highland Tri-Kappa there with poker cards, and you'll get a card at each stop. And then when we finish up the ride at Fuzzy Line, the best hand wins.
So it starts at what time?
It starts at 11.
At what brewery?
Fuzzy Line. Fuzzy Line's hosting us, so shout out to
It
Alex.
starts at Fuzzy Line and ends at Fuzzy Line.
Ends at Fuzzy Line.
So if you like have a purse you want to leave or something, you would leave it at Fuzzy Line, right?
Yeah.
But not on the table like it is here. So you leave from Fuzzy Line, and where's the first stop?
You ride at your own pace, so you don't have to go to any, or you can go to any or all of the stops.
All right,
So
what are the other 6 ones you have? Or how many are there total? 7?
There's 7 other stops.
All right,
So
same again?
313
Okay.
in Munster,
I got it.
New Oberfalls.
Which is way the other direction.
Yeah.
We got the
Okay.
map up here.
Yeah. Grindhouse, Wild Rose, Byway, SIP, and The Worst.
So what would I do? Can you bring that map up again?
Yes, again.
What's the date on this?
It's Sunday, September 7th, with the rain out of the 14th.
So on Sunday, September 7th, isn't that like a Bears game that day?
Probably.
Yeah. Anyways, can you see what time the
I
Bears
bet you
play?
Alex would put the
On the
Bears
7th,
game
yes.
up at Fuzzy Line.
All right. So you're aware that 313 is my brother-in-law and Tony Hannes, right? No, but anyways.
No.
You got them playing on Monday the 8th, so there's no Bears game on that day.
All right.
See,
that's
that was
a
planned. That was planned.
Was it really?
We
That's-
always look at the Bears schedule first.
I was going to say.
They're playing the Vikings that day.
I once had to go to a wedding, and I won't, and the guy who listens to the show, and it was right in the middle of the Notre Dame was number 2 in the country, and they were playing number 1, and the wedding was at 6:30, and the game was at 7. And they didn't allow any TVs on the location because everybody would go watch the games, and they didn't want that at their wedding. So Russ Radke, the old football coach, was there, and he found a TV in the kitchen and was going in and out of the kitchen all night. And I'm like, what the hell are you doing? He goes, shh, I got a TV back here. Let's go watch the game. But anyway, so that is you always got to look at football schedule in the fall. So can you bring that map up? Mm-hmm. All right, so what I would do is I probably wouldn't go to Fuzzy Line to start. I would probably, from my house, go over to my brother-in-law's bar, and that'll be in Munster at 313. Now, you don't realize it, even though it's not on that trail, you can take the trail and pick it up basically in Hammond and then start coming up. I guess that would be to the northeast. And then the first one you would hit, like say you drove down we went from Munster and you went through Wicker Park, your first one would be Fuzzy Line. And then who's the other one in right there in downtown? I see a red star. Which one? SIP?
SIP Coffee House, yep.
They don't serve any booze there, right?
No, this is a family-friendly ride, so you can get a beer or you can get a coffee.
latte?
Yeah.
You know, do you ever go there?
Yeah, all the time.
So they have those lattes they make, and they put those nice decorations on top, and they're just jam-packed with caffeine, which would be a good thing. Say you got there at noon, right? So if you went to Fuzzy Line and stopped in and said hello, and then you went to SIP, and then you rode down the bike path past Griffith and Highland High Schools,
Yep.
right? You'd get them both.
Yep.
And then you would go to the Worst. What is that? I've not been there. Is that the deli?
Yeah.
Yep.
In downtown Griffith.
So you could probably, I think my daughter goes there all the time. So bring that up there, will you? All right, so you could go to the worst. Then you can go to Grindhouse, which has the best or second best gluten-free sandwich in the region. Right there, the Grindhouse Cafe does. And then these two ne'er-do-wells at Wild Rose and New Oberfalls, you could get a beer there, and quite frankly, possibly they would fight it out for the best beers in Griffith right there. And so you would be able to go to those. So that's 5 in downtown Griffith. Who's the other one? It says the worst, Grindhouse, New Oberfalls, and Wild Rose. And then there's an extra star sitting there.
That might be a typo. So those are our stops in Griffith.
Okay, 4 stops in Griffith, 2 in Highland, and then 1 in Munster. Okay? And what is Tri Kappa?
We are a philanthropic
And
organization.
can you say your name again?
I am Tracy Anahan.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah. We're a philanthropic organization that's within only in Indiana. We have 216 chapters, but our group is just Munster and Highland. So everything that we do is to give back to those 2 communities. And we do fundraising, we do volunteering, we give to families in need. We support the scholarships for Highland and Munster high schools, and both police departments and fire departments too, and other, like Haven House, Humane Indiana, Girls on the Run, Who's Your Buddies. So we do as much as we can to give back.
So Munster and Highland come together.
Believe it. Believe it or not.
In one. I can't
in
think
a nonviolent
I can't think of anything. I remember one time when Munster and Highland tried to merge their fire departments years ago. That didn't go real well. I mean, I can't think of anything else that is like a Munster Highland organization.
Right.
Right? This may be the only one.
We're just trying to bring peace to the world.
I mean, think about it. Is there any other? Nothing. I can't. I mean, certainly the high schools don't work together at all. I mean, there's.
I went to Highland, so I've always been bred to dislike Munster. So that's just a thing.
Kind of the same way. Like you would think like a guy like Dan McNeil who comes in here 1 year apart from me, and that eventually we would get along. But there's always this like thin line of, you were a Highland guy and a really mouthy guy on the line, and never really changed. And I just can't get past it. You know what I mean? It's there. So I'm glad to see you guys are bringing the 2 towns together. We need less of that. But anyways, sorry. I didn't mean to do that. But you guys do raise money. I know, so you have some people from Munster, right? I think, is Debbie Wargo one of them? She was at one point.
She was at one time, yeah.
Yeah. And so I remember, supporting that. So you guys are going to try to raise money. How do you raise money?
We do different events.
No, but I mean on this one.
So it's $30. You can find it on Eventbrite if you Google Munster Highland Tri Kappa. But if you put WJOB in the promo code, you're going to get $5 off.
All right. So if you put WJOB in a promo code, now what does the $25 get you?
Just a super cool day with Tri Kappa.
Okay, cool. So it's a donation. It's not like you get a free drink when you go there or anything like that. All right, you still got to buy your beer, but it is a donation to Tri Kappa for putting all this together and bringing Munster Highland and Griffith together.
Bringing peace to Munster.
How did Griffith get in here?
You know what?
Don't they have their own Tri Kappa?
They do.
Yes, they do. They have a great Tri Kappa.
Are they okay with you guys coming into their town like this?
That's something we don't like to discuss.
You know what? As a matter of fact, is Munster at Griffith in football this Friday?
I can look. Also, we do have a phone call.
Yeah, okay, we'll take it in just a second. But Munster is at Griffith, and you know what? I've ridden my bike to that many times, and I think I'll probably even do that this Friday. But this is really kind of a cool thing you guys are doing, because not only are you raising money and making it family friendly so that you could take your little kids or whatever, you're also bringing the communities together, all 3 of them. And all 3 of these should have the same fire department, if you ask me. Sorry, I had to throw that in. Let's take a phone call, 219-845-1100. Hi, how is everything? Yeah, me too. Well, I think I'll start at 313, and then I'll go to Fuzzy Line. I go to SIP a lot. I meet Chancellor Keon over there and Billy Baker once in a while. But probably might bypass SIP on this one just because, I got certain needs. And maybe even Grindhouse. But New Oberfalls. So probably go to 313 Fuzzy Line, New Oberfalls, and finish up at Wild Rose. What about you? All right. Okay, hey, thanks for the phone call. I appreciate it. So anything else? You couldn't hear it? What's wrong with you?
I got it now.
Yeah. So anything else you want to say about this?
No, we hope to see you out there because everything we earn from this is going back to our scholarships. So we appreciate your time today. And
how do people get a scholarship if they go to Highland or Munster? Do they go to the guidance counselor and they will direct them?
Yeah, Highland goes through. We go through Dollars for Scholars, and then Munster actually they do their own scholarships. But yeah, we have a committee that takes care of that, and they can contact the school first. But yeah, there are also Tri-Kappa scholarships that are statewide that can also be gotten, but there's different criteria for that one. But
so you're from Tracy? You're from Highland? Uh-huh. And you're from Highland also?
Yep.
So you guys are like Highland lifers?
I am.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, you don't know where you're going to wind up, right?
But
you went to Highland High School?
I actually went to Lake Central and graduated from Lake Central, but I did have some time in the Highland school system.
All right. So kind of a Highland lifer. Or you're very pro Highland. And then you're bringing the other two communities into this, and it's really kind of cool. Yeah. September 7th on a Sunday. Adriana, can you remember for us to promo that in the week going there? Look, they got it's $45 with a T-shirt. What's the T-shirt like?
It's like a green short sleeve T-shirt that's pretty much got the same thing. It's
got the sponsors on it and stuff?
No, it doesn't have the sponsors.
Doesn't?
No.
But it's made for riding in a bicycle and, so that you could see the person pretty easily. And that's what a lot of riders ride anymore is this like incredibly translucent green, which really doesn't fit anywhere. Like if
we got it right here.
Yeah, you got the
T-shirts.
Is that?
Oh no, that's from our golf outing.
Okay.
That's from the golf outing. Can you go back to that photo?
Yeah.
When was the golf outing?
We had two. We had one at Wicker and we had one at Oak Knoll a couple of years ago, and then things started getting a little.
That's almost all Highland people right there, isn't it?
Yeah, we do have a handful of Munster.
So, are you looking for more Munster people?
Sure.
That wasn't a resounding yes. You know what I mean?
We would welcome more members that want to come in and help us.
And how would they get a hold of you? Is there a website or do you have a Facebook
it's
page?
An invite
well, what
only
about
group,
this? It's an invite-only group.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Nice. That way you're able to keep out Munster people.
Yeah, and be like, oh, Munster? No, can't do. No can do.
That's interesting.
Yep.
Now, are there any guys in it?
And there are people in the group that do not live in Munster or Highland.
Oh, okay.
So there are some people like maybe they went to Highland High School or they're just friends and they just like doing community things. So they do help out for these communities even though they don't live there.
Cool. Yeah. Munster, Highland, Tri-Kappa, they're having a poker run on Sep 7. And Adriana will remind us to remind all of you that it is coming up, especially if it looks nice weather. Let's get people out, use the bike paths, and support a good cause. All right. Hey, thanks for waiting.
Hey, thanks
and
for
thanks for putting up with the fact that I don't want to go back to talking politics like I was. So I'm stretching this out and actually trying to be entertaining, and that never works. But I appreciate you guys coming in. Thanks a lot.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, we're going to take a short break, and then Adriana's going to come back with the weather, and I'm going to make a bagel with cream cheese after this on the Voice and Face of the Region.
It doesn't matter anyhow. I know I won't be saved. For you go to sleep tonight. Say a prayer for me, yeah, yeah. And all the other wasted souls drown indefinitely. Going down, swallow an ocean. Going down,
It's the kind of song where you gotta prepare, you know, you gotta smell the glove.
Well, I woke up in mid-afternoon, 'cause that's when it all hurts the most. I dream I never know anyone at the party, and I'm always the host. If dreams are like movies, then memories are films about ghosts. You can never escape, you can only move south down the coast. Well, I am an idiot, walking a tightrope of fortune and fame. I am an acrobat, swinging trapezes through circles of flame. If you've never stared off into the distance, then your life is a shame. And though I'll never forget your face, sometimes I can't remember my name. Hey, Mrs. Potter, don't cry. Hey, Mrs. Potter, I know why, but hey, Mrs. Potter, won't you talk to me? Well, there's a piece of Maria in every song that I sing. And the price of a memory is the memory of the sorrow it brings. And there is always one last light to turn out and one last bell to ring. And the last one out of the circus has to lock up everything.
AM 1230, WJOB 104.7 FM, the voice and face of the Calumet region. Can you turn these two off?
What?
These two mics? Or
Yes.
you already did, probably, huh?
Sure.
Yeah, there you go.
We'll go with that. Now
Yeah,
they're off.
They're off. Hey, you know what? Instead of making up the traffic, why don't I actually look at it this time?
I will say I saw that the one lane that everybody's talking about. Oh, it's terrible. I didn't think, because I had to go pick up one of my friends at Midway this past Friday night at like 1 in the morning. So I thought, oh, there's not going to be any traffic. Because of that one lane, there was traffic.
Where, on the highway?
Yeah, going to Chicago.
Really? I've heard people talking about it. I haven't seen it yet. Where is it?
So
I know you don't know.
yeah, I was gonna say I know how to get there, but right as you get onto the exit that says like Chicago Loop and all that, that's where it's gonna be.
And it's down to one lane?
Yeah, for a little bit, and then it goes back to regular. But that
I gotta say another one. Now, have you tried to go north on Indianapolis Boulevard lately to East Chicago?
Oh yeah, I go around. I go once I get to Indianapolis over these train tracks, I'll go down to the left until I get to Columbia, or I'll go down Kennedy Avenue because the bridge is still open, at least going to East Chicago, but you can't come back from East Chicago. You can't go from East Chicago to Hammond on Kennedy, but you can go to East Chicago on Kennedy.
So, yeah, I don't quite understand why. But Indianapolis Boulevard is down to one lane on over what they used to call the 9-span bridge, and you got to wait 10 minutes for it to clear out.
Yeah, you're better going around it.
And then you would go over to Kennedy. Now you're saying you can go into EC
On Kennedy Avenue, yes.
Yeah, I imagine they'll change that at some point and make it
Hopefully.
the other way. But for a while that was closed, so all you could do was go to Columbia, and then Columbia is really crowded right now and has its own construction and traffic.
It's cleared up a little bit. This summer, I think it was from like June until now, they had the roads closed off. It was one lane each way as well.
And on Columbia, right?
Yes, but it's cleared up a little bit. There's still slightly some construction, but not as much as there used to be.
You guys realize what is happening. Adriana is actually paying attention to the roadways and to things that are happening. And, that's good news, Adriana.
Does this mean that I am successfully becoming an adult and I have to pay attention to the roadways and the politics and the traffic?
Same things happened with you and Matt Kaufman and Joe Cimino. And I don't know about Lynette Lopez. By the way, she starts. Don't forget to get her on payroll.
We already did that.
All right, you did. All right, good enough. And then what happens is people come in like you, and you don't really know the roads, and you don't really pay attention to it. And then all of a sudden, after about 6 months, you start paying attention. Joe Cimino asked me about, what are they doing to the Borman again? Blah, blah, blah. I'm like, gosh, it shows that you actually care about traffic, because in past generations, you had to know the roads and you had to have a paper map and you had to get it. Now you just put it in your phone. My son-in-law moved from Brooklyn to Munster, and he didn't have a driver's license. And then he finally got a driver's license.
Oh, okay. I was very concerned for a second, but then when you said Brooklyn, I was like, okay, never mind.
Yeah, he just took trains and cabs and stuff.
Yeah, public transport.
Yeah. And so I would ask him now, I'm like, well, where was that, or what roads did you take there? He goes, I don't know. Just put it in Waze. I have no idea any of the name of any of these roads. He goes, I know where Indianapolis Boulevard is. That's it.
That sounds like one of my friends. She got her driver's license around, I believe, 18 years old, so it was her senior year, and I would drive everywhere. So she didn't really pay attention to where we were going. She just knew that I knew how to get places. Like around here, I don't really need a GPS, but once you get out of the area you're used to, then you're going to need a GPS. But I think we went to Target in Highland, and she lives in Hammond. She put Target in Highland in the GPS, and I was like, you don't know where the Target in Highland is? She's like, no, I don't. Like everybody else drove for her.
It's not that hard to find. It's on the boulevard, right?
I find it so funny, but she's gotten used to now driving because everybody else would drive her everywhere, so she really wouldn't pay attention. So then now, as she's driving and she's getting more confident knowing where everything's at, I was like, okay, now what street are you on? She's like, don't ask me what street I'm on. And I'm like, it goes Calumet, Columbia, Indianapolis, Kennedy, like, That's
pretty good.
That's how it goes down. And
that's
she's
good
like,
that you know that.
She's like, I know Indianapolis. That's the one everybody knows.
Yeah, that's all he knows.
The other ones people don't know. And I was like, okay.
He drives to downtown Hammond, and I'm like, do you take Holman or do you take Columbia or what? He's like, I don't know. I just put it in the thing and I just go. Jen, who comes in here, Jen Forite, my sister, who in 21 years has never gone to lunch with me, and I've asked her.
Take her to breakfast today.
She's like, I'm not going to lunch with you. I'm like, I wasn't a very nice older brother, I think. But anyways, she has a daughter, Annie Forite, who went to Munster and then went to Notre Dame. She started medical school, I think, just like a week ago.
Oh, congratulations to her.
She very well could be a brain surgeon. Mm-hmm. She's that smart, and she probably will get what she wants, and that is to be a brain surgeon. She likes that stuff. But I would say about 5 years ago, she was a senior in high school, and we're having a little get-together like we do, and she goes, Uncle Jim, can you take me to my friend's house? I was leaving, and I go, yeah, I'll take you. So we get in the car, and I go, well, how do you get there? And she goes, well, hang a right here. And then we go all the way here, and then she goes, hang a left here on Columbia. And then we get to the light in front of Munster High School, right? And then she goes, all right, hang a left here. And then we go around 35th, and then she goes, go here and go there. And I realized that it was 2 blocks away from her house. And I'm like, well, we could have just gone straight there up Northcott or something. And she's like, well, I only know how to get there from the high school.
Yeah.
So I had to go all the way back to the high school and then all the way to the house that basically I could hit a 3-wood to if I hit it good. And that she had no idea of the directions. I don't even know what, I'm like, well, what direction are we headed right now? She's like, I don't know. That's common, right?
Yes. So there's a funny story that I have about that. So, like, my generation, we don't really know our north, east, south, and west. We know what it is, but if you were to ask me right now what direction I'm looking in, I could not tell you. So going to Bishop Knoll, they have these retreats that we go on, and there's one of them that's a 4-day retreat called Kairos. And that retreat, they take away your phones, your tablets, everything, and there's no clocks in the building that you're in because they have the concept that you are on God's time. So you do not get to know what time it is at all. So while we were all there, like, you're able to go outside because they have a bunch of activities during downtime that we have. And one of the guys that was on the retreat with us was like, oh, I know what time it is. They're like, we're all like, how do you know what time it is? Like, you found a clock, or like what? Because the first day you're over here like getting like jitters because you don't know what time it is because we're so used to being on a strict schedule. So he's like, yeah. And he's like, well, we're facing east right now. And I look up at the sun and I can tell the time by where the sun's at. And we're like, okay, Boy Scout, like you already got us. We knew what time it was. So every time that we had downtime, we're like, go outside, tell us what time it is, because he knew his directions.
You know what? That's not rocket science. As a matter of fact, you can just put a stick.
Thought it was. Yeah, that's
put
what
a stick in the ground and then look where the shadow points, and you can figure it out from there.
That's the thing. Nobody knew how to do that except for one person.
I'm a little worried that you're probably going to get plucked away from us and go to work at some big job in Chicago, and you can't tell around what time it is by the sun.
Well, I mean, like, if it's
literally.
Yeah.
If you took a nap and woke up and you wouldn't know if it was 10 minutes or 2 hours by the sun, right?
No, I would not. I really couldn't.
That's kind of, well, I mean, that's as bad as one day somebody that's listening is going to walk into a room and the brain surgeon's going to be my niece, and she's not going to know how to drive 2 blocks away unless she goes back to the high school, and that hasn't changed. I think that's a casualty that needs to be addressed.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I like the fact that you're on God's time. And see, you would have never thought of, how do I tell the time?
Yeah, if we were never put in a situation where you did.
Do they ask you what direction you're going?
What do you mean?
Like
when I'm...
Can you tell where you're at? Can you tell what direction you're headed by where the sun is?
Where the sun is?
Wait a second. The sun's right here. The sun's right
I'm
here.
I can't, like...
hold on a second. You see the sun right over my shoulder?
Uh-huh.
What direction is that?
Gonna tell you.
Okay, good enough. Let's take some photos. Let me do the traffic. 294 around the city is bad, right around about halfway up and right as you get to O'Hare, so allow extra time. 80 east and west gets bad in Joliet, but you don't care. The Bishop Ford is bad from the top of the Steel Bridge all the way downtown, and I don't see an accident, so something's happening that everyone wants to go to Chicago all at once. And if you're a normal commuter, you will be harangued and you will be just pissed. I think I can say that. But it's a long ride up the Bishop Ford and the Dan Ryan. Skyway Toll Road, Borman, Klein Avenue Bridge, they're all moving along pretty well. Adriana Alvarez with the weather.
Currently, right now, at the Strack and Van Til Studios, it is 59 degrees. Today we're seeing highs of 73 and lows of 52 degrees with some partial sunshine and clear skies for the nighttime. Wednesday, highs of 76, lows of 61, sun in areas and high clouds and nice temperatures. But then on Thursday, we're seeing highs of 74 degrees, lows of 56 degrees, intervals of clouds and sunshine, a couple of thunder showers around the early afternoon.
219-845-1100. Let's take some phone calls. I do got plenty of things I want to get to, but I'd much rather hear from you. Hey, you're on the air.
Hey, Jimmy, don't forget, Magellan didn't know east or west or north or south either at the beginning.
Are you kidding on that? Or are you making it up like you do with most things?
No, that's true. In the beginning, he wasn't sure. He had to figure it out. But, hey, the interview with the girls was great on that bike thing. I was trying to text you. I was going to say, hey, the lady on the left in the blue, if she's looking for breakfast at maybe 8:30, I was going to tell you to slip her my number.
You're just you, and you can't escape that. But you did say something that was true. Ferdinand Magellan didn't know east and west. That is correct. Magellan and other European navigators of his time knew which direction was east and west. Their challenge was not the directions themselves, but the exact geography and scale of the globe. In other words, they thought the world was flat, so that kind of changed their direction.
That's sort of like Bradley Gimbel thinking the world's flat, the moon's fake, and he thinks Trump didn't get shot in the ear.
All right. Hey, thanks for clearing up that rather sordid thing.
Number,
all right, let's take the next one. Hey, you're on the air. You're following Mad Mac. What does that make you? A Mad Mac follower?
Oh, yeah. Really, yeah. I'm sure he's going to have a lot of luck picking up women on your radio station. So. God bless anyone who would go out with him. Jesus. But,
hey, can you turn this caller up? He seems to be whispering. But anyways, go ahead. What's on your mind?
I remember a certain radio host making that bear run bike trip a few years back with me, and it didn't turn out all that well at the end of the evening. I think we probably were a little aggressive in our tasting the various beer options at the various places. So.
You know what? I remember that now. Now, the best place in America to do that is Madison, Wisconsin. They have all these bars on basically a strip on a abandoned railroad tracks. They made it into a bike path, and then you can stop at the various kind of dive bars all the way around the region. I wonder why more people don't say, hey, let's go have a beer, get on their bikes, and then ride there on their bikes. I mean, that doesn't really happen, and I think it should.
Yeah, there are a few riding groups that they ride from Trek out there in Cherville all the way up to 18th Street. You can do that almost all the way on bike path, so they go hit 18th Street, I think, once a month. So there's a few groups that make rides like that around the region, but I don't think they're well known or well promoted. So this sounds like a fun event, and I think it'll be fun.
Like a fun event.
Yeah.
Are you going to go?
Yeah, I think so, yeah. You know that by 313 over there, next to the South Shore line, they do have a path that ties, I forget the names of the two trails. They tie the one there that starts in Munster into the one there that runs along the little cow. And so it's almost all bike trails, I think, you can ride on what they were showing on that map, except maybe if you're trying to go from Munster to Griffith, I think you got to go down Franlin and then maybe Hart through Highland to pick up the bike path again over there in Highland. So,
well,
typically, it's going to be a fun event.
Yeah, I mean, obviously 313 is going to have to be open at 11, but if you go north on the bike trail, and I think they finished that bridge finally, then you could go east, and Adriana doesn't know where this is. No, you would be going east. Let's see, you would be going east, and you would go to Highland along the Little Cal, and then you would pick, I think that's the Erie Lackawanna up at Wicker Park, and then you would go right into downtown Highland, and you could stop at Sip and Fuzzy Line, and then you take
and Byway. You can catch Byway over there too.
Yeah,
on that
you could
trail.
stop at Byway.
Yeah.
I don't know if they're part of this. I didn't mention that.
Yeah.
Oh,
I
they
think
are?
Byway
Okay.
was on that map. Yeah.
Okay, so you could go to Munster, Hammond, Highland, Griffith, and it's all kind of sanctioned. Driving your bike drunk is not sanctioned.
No,
I was thinking about this. I went to Michigan on Saturday, and we just spent the day up there, Alexis and I, and I brought my bike because I knew they had one of the best bike trails anywhere is coming out of South Haven, Michigan. And so I get on it, and then I realize that there's a lot of people riding electric bikes on this basically cross Michigan trail. And I asked a couple guys, I said, hey man, you want to go with me? And they had places there, and they're like, oh yeah, I got my electric bike. I go, I'm not riding you on an electric bike. That's basically a small motorcycle.
That's right.
It is. And I'm like,
Yeah.
So if you're on the bike trail and you've had a couple beers and you're riding an electric bike, that's drunk driving, right?
Well, it's pretty dangerous. I'm not sure technically what it's called. I know electric bikes originally weren't even allowed on the bike trails, but then I think the state legislature made a law exempting them from not being able to be on those bike trails.
Yeah, I mean, that
but you know, when you're on the local trails and you see, you know, a couple of 12-year-old kids zooming by on one of those electric bikes playing chicken or something like that, you know, at our age, it makes you a little bit nervous for them and for ourselves. But
in Michigan,
but yeah, they're all over the place here. Even in our local trails, they're all over the place.
In Michigan, a guy named Darren, as a matter of fact, you may know him, Darren Bohm, who went to Morton. He's quite a bit younger than you are. But he is the one who has the place, and I had to go up and hang out with Morton people over the weekend, which is questionable in and of itself. But Bohm's like, hey, you know, watch out for the electric bikes. I go, really? He goes, and I hate to make a generalization, but it's usually kind of older women on the electric bikes, like really old. And I'm like, what are you talking about? And there had to be, I had to see about a half dozen women in their 70s or even 80s riding these electric bikes rather quickly. And that could be a little bit surprising also, especially since it was a cinder bike path and it had rained. It was kind of slick. Oh, wow. And I was like, man, this is not, you know, it's kind of dangerous. Hey, by the way, I got to tell you, guess what I did on Friday? You'll never guess this, so I'll tell you. I went with Dave Dabberton, and I swam from the Hammond Marina over to the Hammond Sanitary, or the Hammond Water thing and back.
Yeah, how'd you hold up with that?
I've been swimming at the Y here. They're closed today, so I won't. I mean, the pool is closed today.
All of them are.
Yeah. So they open tomorrow. But it was unbelievable. The only problem was, you know, I'm halfway through the swim, and then I realized that the day before I had McDermott on, and he had told us about all of the poop in Hammond going into Lake Michigan, and I forgot about that, and I'm like, you know, spitting out this water, and I'm like, gosh, I hope nothing happens.
Yeah.
But anyways, it is the most underused area. There was a couple other swimmers there, but Dabberton and I, you swim along the coast or the lake shore, and it's a long swim, and then you swim back. It's pretty safe. He had a flotation device on and the whole thing. But I just want to bring that up to people, that that's a possibility, but you definitely got to have that safety flotation device on. I didn't have it. I won't do that again. But anyways.
Yeah, my wife and two kids can both swim all day long. Me, after about 50 yards, I'm like, oh, Jesus, I'm going to drown here if I don't get to shallow water soon. So I'll need double flotation devices.
Hey, high school football, we had 8 games on. You know how high school baseball has kind of risen here in the region? So has high school softball. I think the same is going to happen here with football. There's some really good teams this year. Maryville, Crown Point. If you look for the JED TV Sports Network top 10, I think it's Maryville, Crown Point, Hobart, Michigan City's up there. I don't know who was number 4. I forget right now. Andrean's right up there. They're good teams, man.
Quickly on baseball and softball, like, so what was 7 or 8 teams right there downstate in the championship and 4 winners, I think.
I think all 8 games had a region team.
Yeah, it was an incredible spring. It was historic. I'm sure it's never happened up here again. I'm not sure it's happening in any other part of the state other than maybe Indianapolis. So it was incredible. Softball and baseball.
What's going to happen now, I don't think people realize it, is that kids can now transfer at any time, anywhere they want to go, as long as they can get into the other school in one way or another. And that's going to change everything. And it hasn't hit yet. There hasn't been big notable transfers or somebody got in an argument with a coach and the next day they're at a different school. that is going to happen around here. And it is also in the back of coaches, athletic directors, superintendents' minds that they have to have the really good facilities. They have to have the best coaches. And quite frankly, they got to have their games on TV because, well, I'll go to that school. They're on TV. The other one's not. The whole game is changing. Have you felt it yet?
Yeah, and it's really starting to change for kids trying to get recruited out of high school into college. Rick Pitino in basketball really made it very clear for everyone. Like, I'm going after 25 and 26-year-old kids. I'm not going after 18-year-old kids. So if you want to play at a high, there are a lot of opportunities at all levels for most kids to play in college. There's NAIA and Division III and all that kind of stuff. But if you're hoping to maybe play at a higher level, you got to have a lot of game and you got to have a lot of exposure too, like you're talking about. And that's the way to get exposure. Yeah.
Yeah.
That Michigan City team. Go ahead.
No, you go ahead. You're way more interesting.
The game that really caught my eye last weekend was that Michigan City game because they're always a wild card. Every once in a while, they got 2 or 3 potential D1 players stacked on their roster, and if they put some stuff together, they can throw together a nice team over there. And it looks like this might be another one of those years for them. You're always going to see Maryville, Crown Point. Hobart has regained some of their mojo from the 90s.
Hobart looked really good in beating Chesterton. And first of all, I need to apologize to Plumbers 210. We did not get the spot in on the Hobart game, and I know a number of plumbers were like, hey, dude, your spot was on every other game, but we just, we work with the students, and we have to have the spot in at a certain time. But anyways, Hobart and Chesterton was the biggest defensive battle in the second half. I'm like, wow, it's kind of boring, really. But nobody scored after halftime, and that's because both schools have really good defenses, and they're going to need that when they start playing the Maryvilles and they start playing the Andreans, even Hanover. Anyways, I got to move. Thank you. We could do this all day.
Yeah, good to talk to you, man.
All right, thank you. 219-845-1100. You're listening to AM 1230 WJOB and 104.7 FM. Hey, you're on the air.
Hey, you know what you get when you take the T out of Morton?
By the way, I did not say that, and you said that.
You know who told me that? You know who told me that joke?
Frank Mervan.
No, Artie Rogers, 88 Morton grad.
Hey,
the second question is this after you ask of Morton grad. When you ask them to take the T out of it, what does it spell? You ask them, how long does it take before they come up with the answer?
Took me a little while, so it took Adriana had to put it together too. So I don't know what kind of test that is. Hey, I will say this, and I don't want to be remiss. Hammond Morton looked really good in beating a tough Portage team handily. And you could have watched all those games on JED TV Sports Network. And it was just a kind of a surprising night to see Hobart so good and Morton so good. But anyways, what's up? Dave Kuziak.
So I've been doing work in Hobart the last couple of weeks, and I've been driving around, and I can tell you one thing. You could tell how good a football program is by seeing their peewees and all the ones. There was a local school, I forget the name of it, but boy, there was 40 or 50 kids out there. And so if the feeder program is healthy, that means good things for the program. And you know this from experience. Hobart was always one that they had the feeder program. And then, of course, during your years in the 80s, they were the first to use steroids.
Stop, Kuziak. They just lifted weights.
What are you talking about? They were the first. They tell you. You talk to the guys that are my age in the 80s. They were the first to use steroids.
No, they were just good weightlifters. By the way, I will say this.
Sure they were.
Hey, hold on. We had the Morton or the Chesterton Hobart game on, and the color announcer on that Hobart games is none other than the mayor of Hobart, and he was really good.
Good. I ran into Tony Rodriguez. I'm trying to recruit him for you, and then I also ran into Artie. We were at his pool, and he said call Kevin Enright.
So there's two guys that I know you guys are looking for analysts, Tony Rodriguez and Kevin Enright, to do some Crown Point games.
Hey, Dave Kuziak is on the air. A lot of people. By the way, that's Josh Huddleston. That is the voice of Hobart football, and he was on there with Sam Michael. And Huddleston was good. I didn't know what to expect, and he's just got this amazing knowledge of football because he played, and he's pretty excited about it. And not only that, he's excited because Hobart's good. But anyways,
a lot of good stuff going on in Hobart right now, man. I've been doing a lot of work out there. A lot of people are putting money into their homes, and that downtown looks beautiful.
Yeah. Hey, Dave Kuziak, how many times am I going to be asked, and Adriana, when is Dave Kuziak coming back? You're going to have to answer that right now.
Next, not this Friday, next Friday. First of all, I want to promote Rock and Rail Fest. So this is the last weekend of the summer. So I'm actually meeting some friends up there on Sunday, and I think it's all weekend, so go see one of the last fests. It's going to be beautiful weather. No rain this weekend. It's going to be in the 70s. I've been listening to music all summer, enjoying myself. I went to the last 3 Thursdays at Wicker Park, and echoes were just off the charts last Thursday. There was a 12-minute fireworks show. As the show ended, it was just one of the best 12 minutes of music and fireworks that you can see at the hallowed grounds.
Yeah, woke up my grandson, by the way.
I know, I used to do that because, when I lived right there, you hear that, but hey, it was beautiful. And by the way, the person that pulled, I took that quarter zip Purdue pullover that I had, and I left it, and I'm so pissed. It was $75 at Dick's, and it's gone. It's gone. It's gone. It's gone. Goodbye.
So Dave, let's get this straight. All right, hold on. We need to do some calendaring here. Adriana, Kuziak's not this Friday. I forget who. I don't know who's this Friday. And it's me. Now that I think about it. And then Kuziak takes.
No, it's Dabberton this Friday.
Dabberton this Friday. Okay.
It'll take me a month or two to get my crowd back, but that's okay. That's a different issue.
All right. So Kuziak comes back. Can you put a couple other things on my calendar? Mm-hmm. One is, Kuz, they have the car show at Wicker Park tomorrow from 4 to 7, and the DJ for that is Brian Cummings, and you hear some of his music in him DJing here on WJOB. I think he's going to have a live show eventually. So that's 4 to 7. That needs to be on.
Yeah, he came in when I filled in for you, and talked to me and dropped off some stuff. Said that he's very interested in doing some work. I said, well, make sure you talk to the boss. So he must have got in touch with you. So he's pretty well known. He does a good job.
Yeah, he's had his DJ stuff. And then if we could put that poker run on my calendar. And then what else do I need on there, Kuziak? I need, Rock and Rail Fest.
This weekend you got to go to Rock and Rail Fest. It's going to be just beautiful weather. Some of the festivals over the last couple weeks, I've been doing some festivals and just enjoying summer. They really got hurt with the 90, 100-degree temperature. In fact, when they had Western Days, they also had, they tried a new thing called, like, pints and performers, Pensy pints and performers. They put a thermometer on the pavement. It was 107 degrees at 6 o'clock on that Saturday. So that really hurt some of the people that, no one wants to go out when it's that hot. So it's just going to be perfect this week and this weekend. So get out last weekend of the summer, and the music's great at Rock and Rail Fest, as well as any other thing that's going on this weekend. That's where we're going to go. We're going to sit in a pool on Saturday, just really enjoy this is it. This is one of the reasons why I took some time off. We only get so much summer. We only get 12 weekends, and this was the last weekend. So enjoy it. It's been really hot, and we got a lot of things coming up. We got some people coming on, and we'll get back at it, swing at it, talk about some of the stuff that's happened over the summer, talk about some of the stuff that's going on, promote a lot of the good things that are going on in the region, and try to educate people and educate myself as to what's going on, and get back into it. So it's been nice. It's kind of unplugged for a couple months, not only locally but nationally, and you will find that life is really not as bad as everyone makes it out to sound when you unplug from all that toxic crap that people sit and CNN and all that other stuff and all it. I hope that that's about ready to come to an end, because it really does not exemplify America, if you ask me. I'm out here talking to customers and people every day, and do they have their views? Absolutely we do. But I think that what should be brought up is, did you see the guy that won the first time, Tommy Fleetwood, after 165 turns? He won the golf thing this weekend.
I did see that.
Did you see what the gist of his story was? Why everybody loves him so much? He's like the most well-loved person on the tour. And his message to his kids and everyone is, why don't we just be kind and nice to each other? What is so difficult about that?
Well, he's gone through a lot. If you know his story, he's 34 years old and his wife is 57. And they had a kid together. She was pretty old when they had the kid. And he went through a lot of people really judging him for a while. And now they've kind of laid off, I guess. But anyways.
He had some mommy issues, so he married a 57-year-old. I mean, it is what it is. Not the first person. I mean, look at the president of France. I mean, his wife's 75. So it's normally it's the other way. Normally it's women that got some daddy issues that are married to someone 20 years older. And so he's being kind. What is so difficult about that? You can believe that the tax rate should be 50 and someone can believe that it's 10. Does that mean that the other person's a jerk off?
All right, well, with that, we're going to end the phone call. Thanks a lot, Coos. We'll see you in a week and a half. Dabberton will be this Friday, and Coos will come back after Labor Day. All right, man, I appreciate all that you do.
I already hung up on him.
Thanks,
sorry.
all right. Hey, I do have to apologize one more time to the Plumbers 210. They were not on the Hobart game, especially to Shayna Jones, whose kid is in 8th grade there and is a football player. We did not get the Plumber spot into that game, and we'll make it up. Don't worry about it. But you were on every other game, and it was an amazing Friday to open up the season. We have a number of games coming up. Can you I'll do it right now. We have a big Saturday coming up, and that's what I want to promo. We're going to be at Andrean. Now, they've moved the game to Saturday. I won't say it has anything to do with us, but we definitely want people to move some of their football games to, if you want to play Thursday or Saturday, it makes it easier for us to televise the games. But here's what you got. Tomorrow night, it's going to be Grace Christian at IUN in men's soccer. You'll be able to watch that. Friday night, you will have South Central at Boone Grove, Munster at Griffith, Chittard at Hanover, and then we have 3 more games that are RRSN, so we'll have 6 football games on Friday night. And then we will have 1 game on Saturday night. It'll be Fort Wayne Lures at Andrean. That'll be a 6 o'clock game. They'll go on at about 5:45. But with the game broadcast, but they're going to be out there doing a game day type situation. Thanks a lot to the Carpenters. Central Midwest Carpenters are building a set or a kind of a podium where the guys can sit. And then Joe Cimino, I hope you have trained him well, Adriana, because he's going to be hosting that game day. And he, of course, played at Andrean and is pro Andrean. And he said, Jed, this is an out-of-town team. Can I be just like pro Andrean and just like
Sounds
a fan?
Sounds like Andrew Garcia.
Yes. And I said, you know what, Cimino, you can be pro Andrean. You don't have to be independent on this, although there will be a lot of people from Fort Wayne that probably won't like that at all, but it is what it is. So if you're going to the Andrean game, they'll be out in the parking lot there at the Central Midwest Carpenters built studio the first time we're doing it, and Joe Cimino will be the host. He's just a guy who's a student here at P&W who was the quarterback there at Andrean, and that'll be 3 to 5. And I don't understand what's going to happen or how they're working it. I'll be watching it just like you will. And then the following week, we're actually going to do it again as we'll be at Griffith that week, and that will be who's coming into Griffith for that game. It'll be Lowell at Griffith for a kind of a game day thing before the game. So I don't know. I know that other people are seeing that and want that. I don't know how easy that is to pull off or whatever, but that's what's going on. Let's take a short break and let's finish up. We got a hospice in about 15 minutes. Adriana and I will be right back on the voice and face of the region.
If music will play, that.
Oh, what happened there?
It's buffering.
Oh, yeah, just go ahead and I will just sing as you go into it.
There you go.
Yes, only love can break your heart. You should have known right from the start. Yes, only love.
Comes a time when you're drifting. Comes a time when you settle down. Comes a light, feelings lifting. Lift that baby right up off the ground. Oh, this old world keeps spinning round. It's a wonder tall trees ain't laying down. There comes a time you and I, we were captured. We took our souls and we flew away. We were right, we were giving. That's how we kept what we gave away. Oh, this old world keeps spinning round. It's a wonder tall trees ain't laying down. There comes a time, comes a time, comes a time. This old world keeps spinning round. It's a wonder tall tree.
AM 1230, WJOB 104.7 FM, the voice and face of the Calumet region. Let's take a look at traffic. 294 around the city is a little bit heavy in two spots. One is as you go over 55, and then the other is as you get close to O'Hare. Bishop Ford up the gut of the Southland is bad all morning long, and people are just coming back to Chicago. It's been so light over the summer. Top of the Steel Bridge, all the way downtown. No major accidents. It's just heavy. Skyway, Toll Road, Borman, I-65 are all moved along well. Adriana Alvarez with the weather.
Currently, right now, at the Shack and Van Til Studios, it is, if it'll reload, here we go, 62 degrees today. We are seeing highs of 73 degrees and lows of 52 degrees. Moving forward into the rest of the week, Wednesday is highs of 76, lows of 61, partly sunny and nice. And then on Thursday, we're seeing highs of 74 degrees, lows of 56, a couple of thunder showers in the afternoon, and then partly cloudy in the nighttime.
Plenty of games this Friday. Don't forget, Saturday we'll be at Andrain for a game day celebration, our very first one. Thanks a lot to Central Midwest Carpenters for building a stage for that, a podium, so that we'll be out there. The Yankees come in at 71-60. They won last night. They had a real good game against the Washington Nationals. If you were wondering who the biggest Yankees fan in the Calumet region is. He happens to be sitting here right now, and that's Damian Rico. Damian, how are you?
Good. How you doing, Jed?
You know what? They've lost a lot of close games. The
They
Yankees
have. They
and
sure
that's
have.
not good. They usually win those games.
They
and
do.
I'm sure you're staying up late when they go to the West Coast and listening and watching to them.
I do. Watch every day.
But I still wouldn't want to play them in the first round of the playoffs because they have so much power.
They're very daunting. That lineup is very daunting.
How you been, man?
Good, really good.
So he hosts a hospice show and has been there for a long time, but he has a rather long resume, and people don't know that about you, right? You worked for the city of EC for a while?
Yeah, for a long time. I think since I was 18 years old, all the way till I was about 30-some years old.
And then you worked for the Times?
The Times for 10 years, yeah. And then I'm here.
And then you
In
went to
the
hospice.
Calumet area.
You know, we had, I know you'd been talking with Adriana about doing some sort of podcast. I don't know where that is. But I think that's the general topic of talking about like end of life issues. That wasn't something you knew before you went to hospice, was it?
Not at all. You know, like a lot of people that I've talked to and met through my journey, it's facing it yourself. The realities of having parents that are getting older and needing care, and nobody wants to talk about that, especially in our culture. You know, the Mexican, the minority culture, we don't really like to talk about end of life and planning and all those kind of things. And you know, nursing homes is kind of a horrible word when you're a kid. That's the one thing that they instill in you is you better never send me to a nursing home, and so we don't think about those kind of things. And at that age, but as you get older and you understand, I think the world's changed a lot. It's evolved. People have embraced palliative care and end-of-life care, and they understand that, you know, it doesn't have to be for older people. It can be 50s, 60s. You get an illness, and you need some care that you didn't think you needed along the way.
You ever think you'd wind up doing this?
I did not.
I mean, it kind of does go against your culture in a weird way, right?
Well, you know, that's what we're trying to do is we're trying to educate and empower folks. And I think that's the only way to do it is by sitting there telling your story that people can relate to. You know, I know a handful of people. I have grade school friends that have reached out for their parents or for their loved ones.
Heck, we've reached
even for
out to
themselves.
you twice, man. And we've used your services, and we appreciate that.
And it's one of those things that you just really appreciate, but you don't think about it until you need it.
So you have a little bit of history with WJOB, right?
Yes, for sure.
Tell us about it.
Well, you know, we started, I always tease you a little bit because when we first started at the City of East Chicago, we used to record everything. And I remember you and the mayor used to tease me because I would always be dressed up. It's like, you know, it's radio, right? And I'd say, well, it's radio for you, but we're recording it and putting it on our public access channel. And so we were podcasting before podcasting was cool because, you know, not everybody could wake up at 7:30 in the morning when we had our slot. So we would play it throughout the day so they can see it when they get home from work. And people really liked it. You know, you guys had a great platform to provide education and local community information out to folks. And, you know, we took advantage of it from a young standpoint.
You don't realize that, you know, we have kind of really built a TV sports network. The City of East Chicago show was very integral in showing us what was possible, and that was you doing that. And it was like, even I was like, why are you doing this? And then next thing you know, it's like, hey, maybe we should do that.
Well, you know, Jed, I think that's the great thing about this community. It's like, you know, and I was just talking to my son about this because he was saying, Dad, you know, and I said, well, what you guys call bullying, we call it like friendship. You know, it was like, you know, if a kid had a nice shirt on, you'd be like, hey, man, how you like my shirt? It's all right. You know, that's just how we grew up. It's fun. It's tough. You know, when I grew up in my neighborhood in East Chicago, we had Puerto Ricans, we had Greeks, we had Jewish families, we had Polish families, all on our block. So, you know, the diversity was amazing. When I moved to Hessville, it wasn't that way. We were the only Hispanics on the block. We had a hard time at the beginning, and but this is the first time I faced a community that, you know, hadn't had that diversity. And my mom sat us down and said, "Listen, you know, it's not that these people are mean. It's just that they're ignorant. They have not been exposed to that." And we invited everybody on the block to eat. The next thing you know, in a couple of years, those guys were our best friends. But, the thing is, I think sometimes the world is just so angry that people don't understand things. And sometimes you got to slow down and you got to think like, how can I educate? How can I make this world a little bit a better place? And sometimes it's not that hostility, and it's not that combat to combat action. It's sitting down with somebody, sharing a meal with somebody, sharing a drink, sharing your culture. And I think that's it. Growing up in Chicago, it's been a blessing in disguise, because everywhere I go, I can sit down with somebody and find that connection.
Typical EC guy, just so you know. EC was and is the greatest place in the world, and I get it, and that's typical. I mean, I just had Kuziak on; he would have said the exact same thing.
Well, it's
but
changed now,
it has, but there was a time when East Chicago would have been the poster child for diversity.
Yeah, melting pot.
Yeah, big time. Now, you also had a relative that used to be on the air here, right? A long time ago?
Yes, my Uncle Arnold, who's actually, I found out that your wife, Alexis, is my cousin.
Yes.
And I didn't know that at all. I put a picture of my Uncle Arnold on there, and Uncle Arnold was on my grandmother's side, her brother, and Arnold Vasquez. And he had a picture I found in our basement, in my grandmother's basement. It had WJOB on it. I said, wow, that's pretty cool, and so that was decades ago.
Yeah, and he was on the air, and he and another guy, Arnold Vasquez, and I forget the other guy's name, did a Spanish language program here, and it's always kind of been close to my wife's heart, who is a Vasquez, and when we, I think it was part of the motivation, and she knew of WJOB growing up, listening to Uncle Arnold and that kind of stuff. And then when we bought it, she had no idea that you were also related.
Right.
That was kind of a weird thing.
That was weird.
Yeah, it was kind of weird, but it's a beautiful picture. Like, it must have been out of the 60s, out of just a proud Mexican man. And you could just see him on the radio, talking really fast and being part of the heritage. I mean, that just shows. I mean, there would be the Mexican show, the Greek show, the Polish show, and then I think the Hungarian show would all run back to back.
Right.
And sometimes some people would listen to all of them, even though they didn't understand any of it.
Yeah, it was funny. Our neighbors next door, Della and Andy Demantes, and their kids are prominent coaches and teachers in the community, and their grandsons now. But we grew up calling them Yaya and Papu, and learning their cultures and doing the red Easter eggs at Easter time, and just why do you do them all red? And she would explain to us, it symbolizes the blood of Christ, and it was just really amazing, just fascinating to learn all that stuff. And then we had my aunt that lived across the street, and it was just a really great time to grow up in. And I thought I walked a mile to school, which is only 2 houses down, to St. Patrick's preschool, but it was our house. It was we had a nunnery, and then it was the church. So I thought I was walking a mile, but it was only like 2 houses down. I used to tease my friends, like, I used to walk to school when I was in preschool. Really, dude, it was like one house down.
He's Damian Rico. He typically just hosts the hospice show, and that's all you know about him. But this guy's got some stories. Adriana, whatever podcast he wants to do, we got to make it happen But what we need to do is get him out of his shell and talk about other things like EC and the Yankees and his Uncle Arnold.
I was going to say, we already have Calumet Hospice already as a podcast, so that means we have room for another one now, since that was already set up.
Oh, I did not know that. All right, I didn't. So you guys are podcast. All right. So they can go to Apple, Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts, and get Damien in the Calumet Hospice.
Yes, Cherishing Life podcast.
Cherishing Life. Okay, that's what you would put in. You'd be able to hear. I almost called you Adrian Santos. How much of a cut low is that, huh?
You know what?
Adrian's he's gonna use that. He's gonna all sorts of things.
Work with Adrian for years. Adrian's.
Well, that's why I get you confused, because you guys kind of worked together all those years. Hey, Damian Rico is up next with the Hospice Show. Stay where you're at. I'm done for the day. I'm going to go eat breakfast and maybe go work out. And I appreciate you guys being here. I'll be here again on Thursday, God willing. Till then, I'll see you later on the Voice and Face of the Region.
4th, I think, or the 10th or something of February.